It was an instant bestseller that has been translated into 23 languages and is now available in more than 150 countries. But times have changed. The emotional intelligence field is on the steep incline of a new wave of understanding how people can improve their EQ and make lasting gains that have a profoundly positive impact upon their lives. Just as knowing your EQ score was reserved for the privileged few before the publication of the Emotional Intelligence Quickbook, learning how to increase your EQ is something that happens only in isolated circles. Our company trains hundreds of people each week to increase their EQ, but even at this pace, it would take 3,840 years to hit every adult in the U.S. We realize that we've unwittingly been holding important information back. We believe everyone should have the opportunity to increase his or her EQ and have created this book to make it possible. Your Journey. Emotional Intelligence 2.0 has one purpose: increasing your EQ. This will take you far beyond knowing what EQ is and how you score. You'll discover time-tested strategies that you can begin using today to take your EQ to new heights. As you transform yourself and bring new skills into your life, you'll reap all of the benefits that this incredible human ability has to offer. The 66 strategies in this book are the result of many years of careful testing with people just like you. These strategies provide the specifics of what you need to say, do, and think to increase your EQ. To glean everything they have to offer, you need to know where to focus your attention. The first major step in your journey to a higher EQ is to go online and take the new edition of the Emotional Intelligence Appraisal Test. Taking the test now provides a baseline against which you can gauge your improvement as you listen on and learn. Measuring your EQ takes your learning beyond a conceptual or motivational exercise. Your score profile uncovers the EQ skills you need to improve the most, and it pinpoints the individual strategies from this book that will get you there. This feature is new to 2.0, and it takes the guesswork out of choosing the strategies that will increase your EQ the most. The value of measuring your EQ now is akin to learning the waltz with an actual partner. If I tell you how the dance works, you are likely to learn something and may even get the urge to try it yourself. If, as I show you how to do a waltz, you practice each step with a partner, your chances of remembering them later on the dance floor go up exponentially. The EQ profile you receive from taking the Emotional Intelligence Appraisal is your dance partner in developing these skills. It will remind you where to step with every beat of the music. Your online report includes a goal tracking system that summarizes the skills you're working on and provides automatic reminders to help you stay focused. E-learning activities bring EQ to life via clips from Hollywood movies, television, and real-world events. You will also learn how your scores compare to other people's. You will see what percentage of the population you scored higher than and how your scores compare to those of specific groups with which you share certain characteristics. You can ask your report to contrast your scores with others based on gender, age, region of the world, job type, and job title. For example, you might discover how you compare to other women in their 40s who hold a marketing manager title at a company in North America. In addition to receiving the most accurate scores possible, taking the Emotional Intelligence Appraisal now lets you see how much your EQ scores increase with time. You can take the test twice, once now, and again after you've had enough time to practice and adopt the strategies from this book. After you complete the test a second time, your updated feedback report will display your scores side by side and offer insights into how you've changed and what your next steps should be to keep your EQ working for you. Visit www.talentsmart.com/test to access the Emotional Intelligence Appraisal. Click on the I'm Ready button, then sign in using the unique passcode found in the top flap of your audiobook box. The passcode is for one person only. If you have purchased a download of this audiobook and have not been sent a passcode, contact your download provider. Library patrons should note that the passcode will only be valid for the first-time user. Other users may purchase the Emotional Intelligence Appraisal at www.talentsmart.com. Emotions can help you and they can hurt you, but you have no say in the matter until you understand them. We invite you to begin your journey now because we know that emotional mastery and understanding can become realities for you. Chapter 2. The Big Picture. Before you take a closer look at each of the 4 EQ skills in the next chapter, there are some important things you need to know about EQ as a whole. Over the last decade, we've tested more than 500,000 people to explore the role emotions play in daily living. We've learned how people see themselves versus what others see, and we've observed how various choices affect personal and professional success. Despite the growing focus on EQ, a global deficit in understanding and managing emotions remains. Only 36% of the people we tested are able to accurately identify their emotions as they happen. This means that 2/3 of us are typically controlled by our emotions and are not yet skilled at spotting them and using them to our benefit. Emotional awareness and understanding are not taught in school. We enter the workforce knowing how to read, write, and report on bodies of knowledge, but too often we lack the skills to manage our emotions in the heat of the challenging problems that we face. Good decisions require far more than factual knowledge. They're made using self-knowledge and emotional mastery when they're needed most. Considering the range of emotions people express, it's no wonder they can get the better of us. We have so many words to describe the feelings that surface in life, yet all emotions are derivations of 5 core feelings: happiness, sadness, anger, fear, and shame. As you move through your daily routine, whether you're working, spending time with family or friends, eating, exercising, relaxing, or even sleeping, you are subject to a constant stream of emotions. It is so easy to forget that we have emotional reactions to almost everything that happens in our lives, whether we notice them or not. The complexity of these emotions is revealed in their varying forms of intensity. Triggers and emotional hijackings. While Butch Connor was being attacked by a great white shark, he experienced several emotional hijackings, moments when his emotions controlled his behavior and he reacted without thinking. Typically, the more intense your emotions are, the greater the likelihood that they will dictate your actions. Matters of life or death, such as being attacked by a massive beast, are certain to induce a temporary emotional hijacking. In Butch's case, emotional hijackings left him paralyzed by fear, but even in the presence of a man-eater, Butch was able to use his thoughts to take back control from his emotions. Butch reasoned with himself until the paralysis subsided and he was calm enough to complete the paddle to shore. Butch's thoughts didn't make his feelings of fear and terror disappear, but they did keep his emotions from hijacking his behavior. Since our brains are wired to make us emotional creatures, your first reaction to an event is always going to be an emotional one. You have no control over this part of the process. You do control the thoughts that follow an emotion, and you have a great deal of say in how you react to an emotion as long as you are aware of it. Some experiences produce emotions that you are easily aware of. Other times, emotions may seem non existent. When something generates a prolonged emotional reaction in you, it's called a trigger event. Your reaction to your triggers is shaped by your personal history, which includes your experience with similar situations. As your EQ skills grow, you'll learn to spot your triggers and practice productive ways of responding that will become habitual. Sizing up the whole person. Emotional intelligence is your ability to recognize and understand emotions in yourself and others, and your ability to use this awareness to manage your behavior and relationships. Emotional intelligence is the something in each of us that is a bit intangible. It affects how we manage behavior, navigate social complexities, and make personal decisions that achieve positive results. Emotional intelligence taps into a fundamental element of human behavior that is distinct from your intellect. There is no known connection between IQ and EQ. You simply can't predict EQ based on how smart someone is. Cognitive intelligence, or IQ, is not flexible. Your IQ, short of a traumatic event such as a brain injury, is fixed from birth. You don't get smarter by learning new facts or information. Intelligence is your ability to learn, and it's the same at age 15 as it is at age 50. EQ, on the other hand, is a flexible skill that can be learned. While it is true that some people are naturally more emotionally intelligent than others, a high EQ can be developed even if you aren't born with it. Personality is the final piece in the puzzle. It's the stable style that defines each of us. Your personality is a result of your preferences, such as your inclination to introversion or extroversion. However, like IQ, personality can't be used to predict emotional intelligence. Also, like IQ, personality is stable over a lifetime. Personality traits appear early in life and they don't go away. People often assume that certain traits, for example, extroversion, are associated with a higher EQ. But those who prefer to be with other people are no more emotionally intelligent than people who prefer to be alone. You can use your personality to assist in developing your EQ, but the latter isn't dependent on the former. EQ is a flexible skill, while personality does not change. IQ, EQ, and personality assessed together are the best way to get a picture of the whole person. When you measure all three in a single individual, they don't overlap much. Instead, each covers unique ground that helps to explain what makes a person tick. The impact of EQ. How much of an impact does EQ have on your professional success? The short answer is a lot.